All right, you guys, I am live once again. Promise. Um, as I had mentioned to you guys before, that I would be going live today, and I used yesterday. I'm using today, and probably tomorrow because I doubt that I'll really be able to like kind of wrap everything up. Um, but I'm using this time to just kind of recap last week's videos, or I should say, probably the last 2 weeks' videos. But what's up with you all? Well, how are you all spending your Saturday? I hope everybody is, got great plans, doing stuff. I'm gonna be getting my workout on behind this, but what y'all got going? What y'all got going? I'm gonna let this live warm up a little bit. Again, I'm on my desktop and got my cell phone out here just so that I could kind of go through the videos. Yesterday was a very fun live. I had fun. Everybody who joined me, thank you. But I wanted to use this just kind of like as like I say, just a little time to kind of recap. And for those of you guys that caught my live yesterday, some of you all, I know I had mentioned Orlando Brown yesterday, and I was talking about how a lot of you guys do not really be into, you guys really don't like, I shouldn't say don't like, but a lot of you all don't watch my Orlando Brown videos. And I kind of get it because a lot of what he talks about is more of like the heavier stuff that even I sometimes like, you don't want to hear all that. You don't want to hear all that. But it's kind of like the purpose behind a lot of videos that I put out, because just like I shared my little story yesterday of my claim to fame, auditioning, trying to see if I could get me a little contract going back in the day as a teen. There's so many like young, talented people, whether they're talented in acting or singing or whatever, that feel like, oh, if I could just, get out there, if I could just be seen, if I could just be heard, if I could just get signed. And they don't know that it's a lot that goes into like really being successful. Like it's stuff that they should not have to compromise themselves to do or be made to do. I don't know. But anyway, Orlando Brown, what's the odds of that? Orlando Brown just so happened to do, and I'll probably cover the video maybe this coming week. I'll try to do it the sooner the better because he just did the video. But Orlando Brown, he did a Cam Capone interview recently, and I didn't even get a chance to watch all of it. But I think what Orlando does is like a mix between, talking crazy and then saying like a lot of true stuff. And it's like a nice mix bag of like crazy and real. And I think he does it that way just so it's not too like, I'm guessing. I don't think he wants to be looking over his shoulder like scared. You know what I mean? Like that people are like, that he's gonna get a lot of heavy backlash. So that's just my own like personal thoughts, is that Orlando pretty much does like a little mix of like saying some heavy hitter, real stuff, and then like a nice mixed bag of crazy. And this one was even kind of a stretch for me because a lot of times I'm like, okay, well, if you just kind of weed through what he's saying, then you can kind of catch some of those nuggets, those gems. But this one was a little. It was even like a little bit of a stretch for me personally. But still, so it was a very interesting interview because I'm like, let me just click on this real quick. I don't really have time. Let me just click on it real quick, and I think I wound up watching like at least. That kind of lets you know that, as always, just like I say, Orlando Brown is, if nothing else, extremely captivating, very, very entertaining to watch. But yeah, so that'll be, like I said, it'll probably be covered. Dang, how my thing just go dark like that? Can y'all see me? I hope so. I hope you guys can see me. But anyway, what was I going to say? So in this particular live, you guys, and I know a lot of probably out and about, busy, excellent. I always think it's nice to kind of knock this, if I'm gonna do a live, especially on the weekend, to kind of get it done in the earlier half of the morning, afternoon. So, but in this particular live, you guys, I want to cover the video that I did with Gene Deal, Diddy's ex bodyguard, security guard. I wanted to do the Gene Deal on TD Jakes and Diddy. I'm also going to cover Jaguar Wright, what she had to say about Jay-Z and Diddy. I want to talk about Tyrese on the red carpet. And I know that one, that was one that kind of got a lot of mixed reactions to it. And then also, finally, last but not least, I want to talk about Michael Jackson and Chris Tucker friendship and reportedly, allegedly listed on the island. So we'll get into that. But yeah, you guys. So yeah, let's just dive into it. But like I say, do look out for the Orlando Brown one, because I'm going to be covering that. I'm going to be covering Orlando. Like I say, kind of a mixed reactions a lot of times, even with Orlando Brown interviews. But I do feel like, much like Cat Williams, and it could have been him trying to well, I don't even think that, but it could have been him trying to, outdo Cat Williams, because he was asked questions about what did he think about the Cat Williams interview. But maybe not him trying to outdo, but it was just, like I say, he went on some deep ends. He was spitting some truth, but he also kind of went off onto the deep end with some of the stuff, where even I probably will need to rewind back and listen again and is he saying this? Is he saying that? I don't know. But Orlando Brown, if you guys don't know, he's was a child star. And Orlando says that he has been signed to get his own show, which he should. He's been going on everybody's shows and podcasts and stuff like that. And I mean, a lot of his stuff goes viral, and I know those podcasters, people with their channel, I know they're making some money off of Orlando's interview. So I'm happy for him if he, is getting his own show. He should. He has a lot to say, and very interesting to watch. So, like I say, look out for the Orlando Brown video that I'll be covering. And then, so let's get into the Gene Deal and TD Jakes and Diddy video. Now, I know a lot of times, whenever, and I'm also going to tie that one in with the Ray J, Diddy and Ray J. I'm also going to tie that one in with that, because it's kind of like a little point that I want to make. But so Gene Deal was asked questions about what did he think about TD Jakes being tied to Diddy. Now, a lot of people, I know that TD Jakes has his following. I know, that he does. A lot of what I've heard from TD Jakes sounds like good stuff. You know what I mean? I've heard, hey there, Sila, I hope I'm pronouncing your name. Thank you. Much love, and thanks for your comment. Hope I didn't butcher your name. My name gets butchered a lot when people try to pronounce it, but thank you so much. But yeah, so what I have heard of TD Jakes has sounded pretty good. but I know there's like he does have a congregation. He has a lot of people that follow him that were not happy about that, coming out, or it's not even a coming out, but people making that correlation about his friendship with Diddy. Now him being a pastor, a man of the cloth or whatever, like, I know that he's going to make friendships or be followed by people of all, like, he's going to have entertainers, he's going to have regular everyday people that are going to follow him, or or need his counsel. But the issue was him actually attending Diddy parties. Again, like I say, us being kind of like in the age of information, us knowing more and more about what a Diddy party possibly is like, because most people that are watching this, including myself, have never attended or been invited to a Diddy party. So we don't know. We just know about like what's shared and what's said, and stuff like that. But from what we do know, there's a lot that goes on for even entertainers, not even people that are, within the church and stuff like that, but just like for people that are already part of Hollywood. Diddy's parties have like a reputation. Okay. Diddy's parties are infamous even in like Hollywood, the music industry. Diddy's parties kind of, so to know that TD Jakes, a man of the cloth, attended a few of those. I don't know how many, but they say, more than one. Then that does it doesn't look too good. But Gene Deal, he was asked about it and what he thought about it. And some of like what he was saying, in my opinion, he made good points, meaning that um, even if he was there, like just to, or I should say, even if his friendship with Diddy is purely like, him giving counsel, he was just saying like, why is it that Diddy could not, come to his office or just anything outside of that? He was just saying that he has never attended a party or party with his preacher or his reverend, or he's never done anything like that. So I don't know, like that. He was bringing up some good points. He was saying that as we know, he has attended many Diddy parties. He knows what goes on there. He said that back in the day, it used to be more of like people might be doing stuff in a certain room or rooms or whatever. But he was just saying that now, like, people are very like out in the open, stuff that maybe once used to be hidden. So that means allegedly, possibly, TD Jakes may have witnessed or been a part of a lot of that stuff. Possibly. So I don't know. Some people did not like that at all. Had their feelings about, Diddy's friendship with that saints can be friends of sinners. But I think it's the correlation of like partying. I think that's the part that's kind of like, should he be partying? That's like a different category. That's not just, I'm a saint, or a person of the cloth, and I have friends or family that aren't. But the partying part, you know what I mean? And it doesn't mean that TD Jakes can't party. I don't think. But I think that he would potentially be celebrating partying with people that would celebrate and party like he does. Meaning that if he doesn't listen to certain type of music, or he doesn't drink, or he doesn't smoke, or he doesn't do certain things, that would not be in a place where he'd be celebrated. Also has some of his own like feelings, Jakes and TD Jakes stepkids, or whatever. Like that's Gene Deal's own, like personal opinion. I don't have any issues or anything like that with TD Jakes. The only thing issue that I feel or I see, and I think is not just with, and it's not even an issue, but it's just my thoughts, my own personal thoughts. Just like whoever's watching, you guys are entitled to your own personal thoughts, feelings, it. But I just on a personal level, I feel like that. And also, you guys, I'm going to timestamp because I'm covering a lot of different videos, and I want to make sure that if you guys are not watching this live, which you may be doing stuff with your Saturday, and that's perfectly okay, but I do want to make sure that you guys can just like click and go right into the topic. So give me a little bit after this upload so that I could timestamp stuff. But I just personally feel like anybody who's has a congregation, now, unless your whole congregation is driving around, or 99.9% of your congregation. Why does it keep going dark? Can you guys see me? Maybe I should have did this from my phone. My next live, I might actually do from like my phone. I don't know. I just want to make sure that you guys can see me. Okay. But anyway, I was just saying, unless most of your congregation is driving around in Mercedes and Lexus and have mansions and jets, private jets, you should not. I'm a personal believer of that. I just do not think that, someone who is there to speak the word of God or give counsel should be profiting at that level. And if you are, that's great, but you shouldn't be, your profit should not surpass that of your congregation. You know what I mean? Like you have people that are waiting on the bus. Maybe they're in rags. They're waiting on the bus. They are, okay, there goes the light again. All right, good. Waiting on the bus or whatever. Maybe they're homeless. Maybe they are displaced. Maybe they are driving around in hoopties, but you have, a beautiful mansion and you have 3 Mercedes and you ride around in private jets. To me, that just does not add up. It just doesn't. But that's my own opinion. People, you're entitled to yours. Those are just my own personal feelings around that. So that's just, my own thoughts. I know TD Jakes has written books and things like that I'm sure he's profited from. But in my opinion, if you are really like dedicated, you have the word of God, you're really dedicated to it. It seems like, that money would be not for profit. Maybe you're dedicating all the proceeds to different causes and funds and things like that, not so that you have a private jet and a mansion. And, that's just my thoughts when it comes to that. But it's not specific to TD Jakes. That's just what I think in general. Like there should not be profit, not at that level when it comes to speaking the word of God and having a congregation. To me, that just it doesn't add up. The math ain't mathing for me. That's my own personal thoughts. Okay, so, but like I say, that kind of scoots over to Diddy's friendship with Ray J. If you guys do not know who Ray J is Brandy's little brother. He's made a name for himself since, Brandy was singing. He has, done his thing. He's been in some reality shows, but basically his claim to fame, as we know, was his tape with Kim Kardashian. But since then, he's really kind of been able to maintain and kind of like remain in Hollywood in the music industry. But he has a very close friendship with Diddy. Now there was a video that I put out maybe a whole week ago. And it was showing Ray J. People were like, I wrote a comment of like, you don't remember when it happened? I'm like, no, I don't. Sorry, I don't remember. But I guess whatever. Maybe if you guys are watching, maybe you guys remember it was a feud between Fabulous and Ray J. but Fabulous or whatever, I guess, was the first to make digs. Um, like it sounds real silly, but the point is that Fabulous went on to the Breakfast Club or wherever he went. He was on some radio show, and or was it Fabulous or yeah, Fabulous was, and he was being asked about Ray J and the Money Team or some stuff like that. But all I know is that Ray J called into some radio show and was talking real like freak off Diddy, party style. Like he was talking very like what he could have done to him, done to Fabulous, and he has goons that here and there, and Fabulous can't go back to his. It just sounded like some stuff where I'm like, is Ray J? When did Ray J become a thug? Ray J grew up as a kid. He grew up in the Hollywood, which we call like where's all this thug stuff coming from? But anyway, the point was his close friendship with Diddy, and people are saying that he has partied with Diddy. The words actually came out of Diddy's mouth. Actually, in that same little sit down that he had, where he was like aggressively kind of coming at Fabulous, like, when you gonna party with me? How come you don't really party with me? Like that. He was saying how he was out in Las Vegas and he took Ray J to Vegas with him. He's like, no, he was with me. He was with me, and yeah, we partied and some stuff. But basically, the what I'm getting, and this kind of speaks on a broader like level, but to me, that is evident. Ray is not just Ray J, because Diddy has partied with many. He's partied with the Game. The Game said he was going out with Diddy for 2 years and didn't know that he was in a. I guess he didn't know he was in a relationship. I don't know, but to me, it's evident, and it shows that women, we get like a reputation of being like gold diggers, and we could be bought and this. But to me, Diddy is evident that men can be bought too. I guess people can be bought in general. You know what I mean? Like, because Diddy is a billionaire. I do believe he's billionaire status. He's a billionaire. And because he has as much wealth and power, that even men that are not that way will swing that way if asked to party with Diddy. So what does that tell you? Even some of the most hardest, like, because I think the Game was interviewed, and the Game was asked, whoever was interviewing the Game had asked him, like, well, did you record any music with Diddy over those 2 years? Did you? And he was like, well, no, we never made it to the studio, but I know it's because Diddy was busy and he wanted to, it was just he was too busy. Didn't make sense, right? But you have time to party with, or he has time to party with you, or over a 2 year period, buying him stuff and like, I don't know. I guess whining him and dining him. I'm sorry, I say that with respect, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know. What does that say? What does that tell you guys? But a lot of them. There's only been a few that have told Diddy no. We know Cat Williams said you got to tell him no sometimes, right? He said Diddy liked to party, you got to tell him no. That's what Cat Williams said. We know 50 Cent told him no when Diddy wanted to take him shopping. And it hasn't been too many to tell Diddy no. So what does that, to me, like, it is the point, the moral of the story is that apparently, men can be gold diggers too. Men can be, and I'm not talking about, because there is a portion of some of them that felt pressured, right? There's some that felt pressured. that maybe, they did sign a contract with Diddy, or was promised a contract, or in order to remain in the contract, um, have to, felt like maybe they had to go party with Diddy, attend these industry parties. So I'm not really talking about that group. I'm talking about a group like, the Game, that never made any music with him, um, but partied with him for over 2 years. So what does that say? What does that tell you guys? But that's neither here nor there. But that's just like my own like thoughts of it. I'm like thinking about these different artists. Some of them, like the hardest of the hard from back in the day, have known to party with Diddy. And even after that, and I'll probably cover that video, but even after the video with where Diddy is kind of like, I don't want to say bothering Fabulous, but like, when you gonna party with me, whatever. Supposedly after that, a year or two, or last year, a year before last, Fabulous has since then been seen out partying with Diddy. So I'm just saying, maybe, people, some, not all, but maybe a lot of people have price tags. That even goes back to, and I'm not, saying if you're somebody who follows TV Jakes, God bless, no disrespect, but, at what point does TV Jakes regularly party with members of his congregation? And I'm not just talking about celebs. I'm talking about the ones that might be taking the bus, the ones that might be, riding around in hoopties. Is TV Jakes attending their parties? Or is it because Diddy is Diddy with money and power? And unfortunately, a lot of times people can be bought. Just saying. I don't know. That's just my little point. So those are my thoughts. But what else did we cover? Let me see. I'm just kind of going through some of the videos. And if you guys, like I say, I will be timestamping stuff. But if you guys did not catch some of the videos that I covered yesterday, I covered the Miami Mall stuff yesterday. I covered Diddy's alleged hired man lover. That was covered. And it sounds funny, you guys, but I have to say certain things because I'm not allowed to say other certain things. But yeah, his escort, y'all. His alleged escort. I covered that. I covered Shannon Sharp's response to critics who didn't really care for the way that the interview went with Cat Williams. I covered the Cat Williams interview. So if you guys are interested in any of those videos, I suggest you guys check it out from yesterday. It wasn't that long of a live, but I could probably add some timestamps to that as well, just to make it like easier, so you guys are not like, you guys can see that. But you guys, I wanted to get into Tyrese on the red carpet. I wanted to get into this video because with that, there were a lot of people that did not, or the ones that had criticism, I don't even think they actually really sat down and watched the video, because if they watched it, they would have heard like my response to a lot of that stuff. But they were like, it's not addressed. The video is Tyrese on red carpet in red dress. Now, that was not disrespect. I know there's a traditional name that it might. The point is that it wasn't being worn in that traditional sense. Now, I don't know the intention. I would like to think that the group, and we'll call it the group, did not get Tyrese, and that wasn't like any form of like initiation or anything like that. And it was just, I would like to think that it was just Tyrese trying to be respectful, like as they say, when you're in Rome, do as the Romans do, to be, you know, like respectful. And so he wanted to dress like the people traditionally do. But the point was is that he, in from what I could see, and you know, I'm not you know, Middle Eastern, I'm not, you know, whatever, but I have been around those cultures. I've seen, and from what the way he was dressed on that red carpet, I have never seen any of them dressed like that. Like that did not, the way it was being worn, he had a tuxedo over the traditional garb. Now, I did not see any, and that audience looked like it was full. They were even showing like the, you know, the red carpet. I did not see anybody dressed in traditional or even non, because I'm going to say the way that Tyrese was wearing it was really non-traditionally. Because if you're going to wear it, he had a tuxedo over it with like little black glasses, that sunglasses that he kept on the entire time, even on stage, like little round piano man glasses, which was giving me Doja Cat vibes a little bit. Because, you know, I know her and Rihanna had been wearing like those little, like, you know, I know it's a little bit stylish, but and then the way he was wearing it, and I was watching other videos of people that were Middle Eastern that was actually breaking that down and was saying like, no, he was actually dressed more like a female within that culture. He wasn't dressed like a male, and it could have just been whatever wardrobe. We're going to call it wardrobe malfunction. It could have been a wardrobe malfunction. It could have been because stuff happens, you know what I mean? I think it's really more so about like intentions, what he intended. And like I say, I would like to think Tyrese, you know, had good intentions around that. It just didn't, it was like a fail, you know what I mean? Which happens. But it was giving, you know, it wasn't, there was nobody else there that was dressed like that, period, at all. And I think somebody had like zoomed into a person in the audience, and the one person that was like a woman. But it was no disrespect by saying dress. Dress meaning that he wasn't wearing it in the you know, the garb, the respectable, you know, what it actually like means, or serum, you know, how it's worn. It wasn't worn like that. It didn't look like that. So some were saying that maybe, you know, that was like initiation into the club. I would like to think not. Tyrese has been pretty like vocal about his faith. He's been very vocal about like, you know, maintaining and just speaking out on certain things. So I would like to think that wasn't like, you know, any kind of like initiation, humiliation thing that he had to like to do. But yeah, so that was not that video, which like I say, I think a lot of people that were like critics that were saying, no, it's not called like, I get that. I get it. But the point was, is that he was not wearing it in the traditional sense. It was not being worn in the traditional sense at all. So that was kind of like the point, you guys. It was not to criticize a culture or dress or anything like that, you know? But I just think it could have just been a fail. Tyrese has, as we all have, I always feel like if you live long enough, you're going to have some embarrassing moments, because you're going to have some embarrassing moments. It's just what it is. But even through the embarrassing moments, you know, the sun doesn't fall out of the sky, the earth doesn't stop spinning, you just keep it moving and just keep it going. But as we know, Tyrese has had quite a few, like, you know, embarrassing happened to him over the years in Hollywood. Just a few. One of them I did cover on the channel, but it wasn't even so much like poking at Tyrese. It was just more so asking the question of, you know, was his girlfriend, oh, excuse me, was it like playful jarring or jab, whatever, or was it like disrespectful? Because it came off really like disrespectful, like cringingly, if that's even a word, cringingly like disrespectful. That is how it came off. So if you guys want to check that out, you guys can go to my shorts or just look it up. I'm sure you can find like Tyrese and girlfriend on live, and I'm sure you'll find it. You'll find the video. And I had actually cut out some of, not cut out, but I didn't let the whole thing because you only get a certain amount of time with a short video. But I had actually cut out, reduced it down to like a smaller amount, but stuff that I did not include was even more disrespectful, or disrespectful sounding. Maybe that's just the way they play with each other. I have no idea. But yeah, Tyrese has had different things. He had that. It was a thing where something about, I don't know if he flew a plane over his daughter's school, and had her name written or something like that. But he was like upset, crying that he hadn't seen. It was just some stuff, I shouldn't even say that's embarrassing, but he's had a lot of stuff to happen. Like Tyrese has had a lot of things to kind of like take place. So this just could have been one of many things. Just could have been. So I don't know, but that one I had to like turn comments off because people were not getting it. And I think that the ones that did have criticism had those criticisms because they did not take the time to actually watch the video or watch the full video, because if they did, they would have heard what I was saying. I wasn't saying disrespecting that traditional garb or dress or wear, it's worn in different cultures, different religions. Oh, dang, I wish the light would just stay clear, just the way it is right now, you guys. I'm on my webcam and it keeps kind of like going in and out. So I don't know. But it's whatever. I should have probably, dang it. Makes me want to get up and get my my ring light. But it's I'll know next time. It's all good. But anyway, so that I had to actually turn comments off because people were not getting it. People were like, it's not this, it's not that. That's so like, no. Hell, and if anything, you guys, what I'm saying is not disrespectful. If anything, like that could have been looked at as cultural appropriation, but I don't think it was him even trying to be rude or anything. I think it was one or the other. It was either, or hopefully, I'm hoping that it was just that one, which was him just trying to be respectful and show love for the people, the culture, and dress in a traditional sense, although he was not. And that I don't get, because even Taraji, and I think that anyway, that celebrities typically have like a nice little team of people behind them that make sure this is together, that's together, this, that, and the third. And I just don't see, and supposedly that was not his first time being there or being invited to that whatever ceremony. So I just don't see how it ended up like that, where he was the only person dressed that way. I just don't see it. And it's not even so much dressed that way. It's just he was not even wearing it, in my opinion, how it was supposed to have been worn. It wasn't, like showing respect, because it wasn't even the way it was supposed to have been worn. But I think it's more of like the intention. And if he was intending to be respectful, then I guess that's really all that really matters. But yeah, so that was on that video, you guys. What else? Oh, so this too, I wanted to get into it. I was going to save it for last. Maybe I'll do the Michael Jackson, Chris Tucker for last, because I cannot not address that, but I'm going to address it, what I think of it. It doesn't mean that it's Bible, it's whatever, but I'm definitely going to address that one. But so Jaguar Wright, some of you guys, and I will be time stamping stuff, you guys, too. So if you guys are not catching this in my live, like I say, stuff will be time stamped and you guys will be able to like check it out, go directly into that topic. But of course, my hope is that you guys just listen to me all the way through, because why not? Why would you not? But so yeah, I'm gonna save the Michael Jackson, Chris Tucker friendship, and allegedly on the island. I'm gonna talk about that last. So Jaguar Wright, if you guys are familiar with her, she in the past couple of years has really stirred, Cat Williams' interview. We could say that was explosive, and it was. Cat Williams' interview, without a doubt, was very explosive, very bold. A lot of things that he said. The reason why I think, it got so many views, was because of, the people he was talking about. But, B, I think the reason why I got so many views and kicked up such a stir was because a lot of that stuff people know and just don't say. It's kind of like that understood, unspoken type of deal where, people may think something, or it might be kind of said in hush, but it's not really said on that type of platform, or, said by someone who is in the industry like that, like active. Even Jaguar Wright, someone who I'm about to talk about, is somebody who was once active, no longer active. Like Cat Williams, he's not somebody, I would say, this at the bottom of his career at all. And he's talking, saying a lot of stuff, or said a lot of stuff. And like I say too, if you guys really want to find out my thoughts on that interview, you guys can watch my last live, because I talk about that. But one of the things that I did say was I thought it was interesting that, despite people clapping back, that giving their response, nobody, and I do mean nobody, has called him a liar. No one has corrected dates, or, say, what he's saying is not true because XYZ doesn't, nobody has. So that alone to me kind of says something. That's saying something. But anyway, Jaguar Wright, for the past maybe since 2020, maybe past 4 years, 4 years, or something like that, at least to my knowledge. Maybe she was talking, saying stuff way back before in the day, but Jaguar Wright has been talking about the music industry. She's been talking about the group, as we're calling it. I'll say it once. I'll say Illuminati once, but after that, that's it. You guys know that when I say the group, that's what I'm talking about. The group, powers that be, or whatever. She's been talking about that for a minute. She's been extremely vocal, Jaguar Wright, and talking about specific artists, specific, powerful people within the music industry that she, says, did this or did that or whatever. But yeah, she was once an artist. But a lot of her videos have gone viral, and a lot of people have Jaguar Wright on their shows, podcasts, but pretty much whatever interview she does, much like Cat Williams, and even Orlando Brown, this stuff will usually kind of go viral. But Jaguar Wright was saying, allegedly, that Jay-Z is just as bad, if not, worse than Diddy. That's what she's saying. Now, personally, I don't think that could or would be imagination, because not always do flock together. They just do. And especially when you're seeing, I'm not just saying the ones that were invited, because in some cases that is the case, right? Maybe I'm in the industry and I'm invited by someone else, whoever, to attend a party, to attend a Diddy party or something like that. And I'm there because I was just randomly invited. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about ones that you see that are very close knit. Usually they're always in pictures together. They're always partying together. They're always hanging together. I find it very hard to believe that one person does XYZ, they're doing all this crazy stuff, but the other person who is this close with them is not taking part in any of that stuff. I find that hard to believe. I'm not saying it isn't, the case, but usually birds of a feather do flock together. They just do. So for Jaguar Wright to say allegedly, well, I shouldn't even say allegedly because she actually did say it, but we're gonna use allegedly because Jaguar Wright did say allegedly that Jay-Z is just as worse, or if not, more than Diddy. I don't think it's too much of a stretch of imagination. Because if these Diddy parties are so wild and like all this stuff is happening, or all the where are these other celebrities that we constantly see with Diddy? What are they doing at these parties? Where is what is Rick Ross doing? What is Jay-Z doing? What is DJ Khaled or whatever, Khalid? What are these people doing when they're continuously at these same parties? That's just what I'm wondering. But that was another one, Jaguar Wright. What she had to say in that particular video, she specifically covered like an artist that I hadn't heard of, but somebody who Jay-Z, I guess right around the time back in the day when he had gotten with Beyonce, some artist that it was like between her and Rihanna, who was gonna, I don't know, some stuff. But it was very interesting. You guys can check out that video. But that girl had not graduated high school yet. So, we'll just leave it at that. She had not even graduated. So, I'm just saying, I don't know. But so as we see, I'm just saying, as we see, R. Kelly is not the only one. I think R. Kelly, much like Diddy, some of them get a little messy. They get messy, and when they get messy, then they kind of have to go down as like, as a martyr. They have to go down and be made an example of. And I think people way too often, like, we think that because that person went down, that now, the industry is better, or now there's no problems because that, I don't know. I think, might be more than one or two particular bad apples in the industry. So we'll just put it that way. And then lastly, you guys, and you guys could leave comments. Like I say, I'm going to be time stamping this video so you guys can check it out. But I wanted to cover, and it's kind of hard for me not to cover, I wanted to cover Michael Jackson, Chris Tucker friendship. If you guys follow me on TikTok, if you guys follow this channel, a lot of my videos that have gone viral have been videos with Michael Jackson, Chris Tucker. I have always been a Michael Jackson fan. Still am a Michael Jackson fan. I think he's incredibly, Michael Jackson, I think, even though there are other artists that are compared to him now, that they say, they're calling the new king of pop and this and that. I think personally that Michael Jackson, incredibly, incredibly talented. You could go anywhere in the world. I'm not just talking about because a lot of these artists that they're saying are the new kings of pop and this and that and all that stuff are people that if they go outside the United States, nobody knows their name, or they don't have as large of a fan base. Like, literally, not only was Michael Jackson original, he had that kind of like extension where it is just his music went beyond like to the whole entire globe. Okay. And if it was some, I don't know, whatever, somebody off the moon or whatever. They probably, alien came. They probably knew who Michael Jackson was too at that time. Okay. But to me, okay, that's completely separate than the topic that I'm getting into. Same with Chris Tucker. Now, Chris Tucker, incredibly hilarious. Um, people that know me know I have always loved me some Chris Tucker. Okay. Even, when I was like back in the day, I think since Friday came out, I would say I was like, that's my boyfriend right there. That's my future husband right there. Chris Tucker, I just thought he was so hilarious. Always loved Chris Tucker. Um, Again, just incredibly like just funny. However, I will say this, regardless of my admiration for Michael Jackson, my admiration for Chris Tucker, the reason why I say if, and I'm explaining why I'm saying if. Some people are like, there's no if. Their names were identified. I'll explain why I'm saying if. But if their names were really identified in the island, then that's bogus as hell. It is what it is. Like that is, there's no, some people feel like, well, you're not a, like I think, and it's not just with like Michael Jackson, Chris Tucker. I think like in general, a lot of times because we admire celebrities, and we, whatever, maybe they're, maybe even what we know of them outside of being in the spotlight, we like it, we vibe with it, we like, if they're actors, we love the movies they played in, if they're singers, rappers, whatever, we have all their albums, we know all of their interviews, we know every little, whatever, if you're a fanatic, like that. And anything that goes against what you want to believe or know or hear, then it's, like I can't process that. You're like, no, like if, and I'll explain why I'm saying if Michael Jackson and Chris Tucker's names were really listed on that island, then that is fucked up. Okay. That's all I could say. That is, I'm not going to make excuses for it or, oh, well, no, they're, like, no, if they really were. And if you guys are not familiar with the island that I'm talking about, you guys look it up and really know more about the dealings that, Epstein had. And it goes way up. I think if I'm not mistaken, Prince Andrew or whatever, it goes all the way up to royal people that were all entangled and connected into that stuff. Okay, last was included was Bill Clinton as well as Bill Gates. But if their names really was connected in that, then that is very disgusting. And that's really messed up. Excuse my French, and I'm not gonna curse, but that's really messed up. And I'm not gonna, because I love all of the albums and I can name all of the this and that, or because I love all of the Rush Hours and the this and that I'm gonna act like, oh well, no, like no. If that is the case, then that's fucked up. That's really, it's disgusting, it's gross, and it's fucked up. Now, the reason why I say if, even before the release of the name of the, people that were on, even before all of that, I didn't, I mean, I'll say this, no one truly knows if Michael Jackson or whatever. Some saying, oh yes, he was a perv, he was a this and that, and there are people that have came out in the Neverland movie and stuff like that. Michael Jackson, and then this kind of goes deeper into the music industry stuff. Michael Jackson, after he was the apple of America's eye, people loved him. He could do no wrong. After he did the Thriller album, he made a lot of money and he got the tip from one of the Beatles, Paul or whoever, to get into music publishing, which is extremely lucrative. They say Biggie started understanding about music publishing and what he was entitled to just before. But it's very, very, very profitable. Not only did Michael Jackson get off into music publishing, but he wound up buying some very, I guess you could say, heavy hitters. He bought some heavy hitters. He bought some very profitable American music real estate, if you will. Not even real estate, but you guys get what I'm saying. He bought the Beatles music. Yes, Paul McCartney. He bought Beatles music. He bought Elvis Presley. He bought what's some Rolling Stones. Like he bought the catalog at the end toward his death. People were saying, "Oh no, he died broke and he sold off everything." Even the few, and they say over the years he did sell stuff off, but even the few publishing, the what he did have left was estimated, and it was sold at like 800 and something million dollars. It was almost worth $1 billion after years and years of him selling off songs. It was still worth all of that. But supposedly after the reason why he became, whatever, public enemy or whatever, was after they say it took 2 years for that acquisition to actually like really settle, because they did not want to sell it to him. He was not supposed to make those kind of purchases. I almost wore a Tupac shirt yesterday. Leonda, I hope I pronounced your name right. Yep, I do. I am a Tupac fan, and I almost wore a Tupac shirt yesterday. But I was a Biggie fan too, but if I had to pick, I was more of a Tupac kind of girl. But anyway, back to it. Poetic Justice, that was good. That was a very good movie with Michael Jackson's sister, Janet Jackson. Love it, classic. But what I was saying is that right after he bought those publishing rights, which took 2 years, it took 2 years for that to even for him to actually be able to get it. I know, right? Janet. Yep. Janet Jackson. Also a Janet Jackson fan too. But right after that, that's when they said that, Michael Jackson, what they didn't like was not only did he buy it, but he was not selling it back. Like he bought it and he understood, allegedly, he understood power and how important what he, acquired was, and he held on to it. But right after the Thriller album, he was scared for his life. He always felt like people were, something could happen to him. And he knew he had ruffled, the groups, the powers that be. He knew he had ruffled some feathers there. And he was never at ease. Right after that, going into his Bad album, then all of a sudden, MJ is, public enemy #1. You know what I mean? Like nobody, people are coming out the woodwork. This happened, that happened. And then there were even people that said that they were things, had happened to them. And then also Corey Feldman, who I have covered, along with Orlando Brown. I've covered Corey Feldman, and he was very close with Michael Jackson growing up. Corey Feldman has been very vocal. He's been very vocal, very explicit about different people he had been taken advantage of by within the industry, even when people did not want to listen to him. But he always stood by always stood by Michael Jackson. He said Michael Jackson never did anything to him, and Michael Jackson was a wonderful, wonderful friend to him. Never did anything like that. But he was very vocal, and he was like, basically pointing out some of the people that he pointed out are still working in Hollywood, and says what happened to him and some of his close friends who were also child stars. So for these different reasons, that's why I just didn't, to me, I'm not saying, whatever, because really the only people that really know would be God and the people that are supposedly, allegedly, things have happened to. But just like if I had to like bank money, I would say no. I'd say no. But it's easy to target Michael Jackson because I think, was he eccentric? Yeah. A lot of, I think he was definitely had his own way of doing things, but in my opinion, he lived a life unlike anybody else. Like he was like in a level of fame that I don't think anybody, like he could not do like very like little simple things without an audience. Um, so I think just the way he lived his life and his interests and stuff like that was different because he's just different. He's different. Um, I do think, yes, I do think he had some body dysmorphia with the I'm not talking about vitiligo and him getting real light. I'm talking about like just, plastic surgery and stuff like that. But there's a lot of other celebrities, there's a lot of people that do suffer from body dysmorphia, meaning they don't see themselves the way other people do. Um, but because he had those different eccentric things, I think it became easy for people to point him out and say, "Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. Yep." And he is always around kids. Yep, I believe it. Yep, that freak. Like that's just my own personal thoughts. But if, and the reason why I say if is because, if they were trying to destroy his legacy back then, it wouldn't shock me if they were still in the process of trying to, like just, whatever. Nothing would surprise me. But if that is the case, if that, because none of us really know, right? None of us really know. Um, and none of us actually have access to that list or are seeing it firsthand. We just know what is being told to us. And this is the same news media that would not cover the sound of freedom. They would not cover it. They would not give it any kind of press. The Sound of Freedom, check it out, Mel Gibson's movie. But yet they're telling us the names of people that were listed. Now, maybe the list is legit. I don't know. But if it is, that's effed up. And I'm not gonna act like, oh, because I'm a fan or whatever, or I know his life, I know his interviews, he's a great, like I'm not gonna do that. Because I think that's where people in general, right? We praise these celebrities who are just people. They're just people at the end of the day. Just like you know, now there's some I think that might be a little bit more spiritual, might try to live their lives in ways that are more on the path of right. But at the end of the day, people are people. We have vices, we F up, we whatever. Um, at the end of the day, right? But I don't think that, like I say, I don't know. Yes, Chris Tucker's name was mentioned, Michael Jackson's name was mentioned, maybe, I don't know. I don't know. But if it is true, then yeah, that's going to and thank you so much to Selah. I'm sorry, you guys. I'll be hacking up people's names. Beautiful name, Leonda or Lyonda. Thank you so much, you guys, for being part of this live. Always appreciated. And I hope you guys have a really great weekend. I hope you guys do something fun. Enjoy it. Like I say, for this particular live, I am going to do timestamps so that you guys can go directly to the topics if you don't know much about or care much about Jaguar Wright, but you want to hear about my thoughts on Michael Jackson and Chris Tucker. You can check that out. Or you're not into all the Michael Jackson, Chris Tucker stuff, but you have been keeping up with Diddy. That, once I timestamp it, that'll be a good way just to go directly and just, whatever, hear the little snippets that you want to hear, that you came to hear. But I guess that's about it, you guys. But do check out and you guys could still, like, just because I'm going to give my reaction to it doesn't mean you guys can't see it on your own. It's all good. You guys can check out the interview that Orlando Brown literally just did yesterday with, or at least it was uploaded yesterday, with Cam Capone on YouTube. Like I say, for me, even that's a bit of a stretch, only because, and I didn't watch the entire interview. I'm going to finish checking it out so I can react to it. But Orlando kind of went on the deep end a little bit for me. I couldn't quite. A lot of times I try to put together his puzzle pieces like it's, mystery puzzle or something, but I could not quite keep up with that. Like, he was, I don't know, maybe got to really, understand the workings of what he's trying to say. But I do think that sometimes maybe he goes so far off because he doesn't want to be, looking over his shoulder. I'll just say that. But like I said at the beginning of the thing, the news is that he's supposed to be getting his own show, which I think will be very, very entertaining, interesting. So we will see. But I will see you guys on the next live. Again, shouts out to you guys that were part of it. I will see you guys on the next one. Bye. See you guys. Bye.